Ambassador of Egypt, speaking on behalf of NAM. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I have the honor to deliver the statement on behalf of the Non-Aligned Movement. The Non-Aligned Movement reiterates its grave concern about the continuation of the Israeli occupation and about the unilateral and unlawful measures by Israel, the occupying power, aiming at altering the status and demographic composition of the occupied Palestinian territories, its continuation of the unlawful settlement activities, particularly in East Jerusalem, and its illegal blockade on the Palestinian civilian population in Gaza, depriving its population from the full range of their human rights. We are deeply concerned at the measures undertaken by Israel aiming at the fragmentation of the West Bank, the severing of the West Bank from East Jerusalem, the imposition of severe restrictions on the freedom of movement of Palestinians, and the carrying out of forced evictions or demolitions of Palestinian homes, and the recent laws aimed at deporting Palestinians, making them foreigners in their own country. We demand that Israel liberates more than 7,000 Palestinian prisoners, including the many children, women, and political leaders. The Non-Aligned Movement reaffirms that East Jerusalem is an integral part of the occupied Palestinian territories and that all Israeli measures aimed at altering the legal, geographic and demographic character or status of Jerusalem and of the occupied Palestinian territory as a whole are null and void and have no legal validity whatsoever. Our movement urges Israel to immediately cease all illegal practices in and around East Jerusalem, as they gravely undermine the contiguity, integrity, viability, and unity of the occupied Palestinian territory, and jeopardize the realization of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people. The Non-Aligned Movement reiterates its condemnation of Israel's deliberate policy regarding the construction of more new settlement units and the continued Israeli declarations in this regard. The NAM also expresses its deep concern regarding the extensive damage and humanitarian repercussions caused by Israeli settlements, the separation wall, the inhuman network of checkpoints, severing the Palestinian territory, and jeopardizing the prospects of achieving the two-state solution. The NAM reaffirms that any such solution should be in the context of a comprehensive, just, and lasting peace that realizes the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people for self-determination and for establishing their own state in East Jerusalem as its capital and provides security for all. Mr. President, the NAM movement demands that Israel comply with Security Council Resolution 497 and withdraw fully from the occupied Syrian Golan to the lines of 4 June 1967 in implementation of Security Council Resolutions 242 and 338. The NAM expresses deep concern at the continuing deterioration of the human rights situation in the occupied Syrian Golan, especially the recent decision to build 1,200 settlement units in the area in clear violation of international humanitarian law, international human rights law, and Human Rights Council resolutions. We reaffirm that all measures and actions taken or to be taken by Israel, the occupying power, such as the illegal decision of 14 December 1981 that purports to alter the legal, physical, and demographic status of the occupied Syrian Golan and its institutional structure, as well as the Israeli measures to apply its jurisdiction and administration there, are null and void and have no legal effect. Finally, Madam President, the NAM reiterates its demand for Israel to completely and immediately and conditionally with the provisions of the 4th Geneva Convention and to apply them to the Syrian detainees in the occupied Syrian Golan. We strongly condemn the Israeli brutal practices in Israeli occupation prisons and express our grave concern at the inhuman conditions of the Syrian detainees in the occupied Syrian Golan, which have put their lives at risk. I thank you.